What's good, man? It's OG Drip, man. This channel where we talk about the spiritual truth and how to utilize energy on a day-to-day basis, man. And today, man, we got to break down some stuff and probably going to have tough skin with it, especially when you get down to these armies, these marches, these religions, these gangs, however you want to look at it. Because at the end of the day, it's always still talk about separation. And at the end of the day, you never know what happens, especially when someone is descended and they took certain things with them. Like, when you looking at the world for how it is right now, it's certain things people ain't going to tell you right now today. You get what I'm saying? If you was to ask them, because you got to look at also how the world perceive whatever they're trying to tell you. So some people are scared to be themselves, right? So you're looking at a whole world of where you might not actually realize, but it's a lot of people scared to meet themselves, scared to see themselves, scared to actually be accountable, and scared to actually be responsible for things. So it's better off to blame others, right? So we have religions that has other blames to what's going on and saying who's at fault and saying who's to come. We got gangs doing the same thing. Oh, the reason why this and that because of them over there. We got occults, groups, even inside of individual things. Like when you're looking at the groups of people, when you're looking at the people that don't get along, like, yeah, you got gang members that get along with the opposite gang, but at the same time, you got some of them don't get along with their own kind, but they're not at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So it's always some type of division. It's always some type of thing where someone feel like they're right or feel like, hell, I'm going to have control over it, right? No matter how you look at it, even if it come down to gang organization and you talking about who has the most rank or who has the most position and who has the say-so of who comes and goes, right? To all the way to down to the same thing with politics and dealing with business. When you talking about a person sitting there telling you, hey, I'm going to fire you if you don't apply to what I'm telling you, whether you like it or not. So at the end of the day, or if you don't like, even when you at a big position of power, right, where you have your own people against you, to be like, hey, you make one mistake, we're ready to sue you, ready to take everything you have. So at the end of the day, it's always like a battle against each other, right? To the fact that a lot of people like to take petty towards something. And that's the reason why they give it like it's been an attack on every single religion. It done been an attack on every single gang. It done been an attack on any single group, because these things will form you to come up with different type of minds to be able to fight against each other, though, right? Because at the end of the day, if we was all able to actually reach our mind out and be able to reach on together instead of having it be controlled, which you feel like you have power, right? But you really don't, because at the end of the day, the things that someone is trying to get to go is not actually working. Even Christians admit to giving out power and waiting for someone's return, right? To saying that this is when they will receive their power back. So at the end of the day, no matter if you want to admit it or not, that's already letting you know that you don't have no power. Then on top of that, when you have religions and stuff where they try to play the pity game to be like, hey, everything was black people's own, was black owned, indigenous people, or Pan-African, all these different type of places where they're at a position in the world. And then when you hear them, they'll name another culture or another race, like they're from another part of the world, but yet they knew what was going on with both sides of the world, and yet they knew what was going on with theirs, even though they don't even know how to do the things today. They saying that they was the original ones build pyramids. They don't know how to build them. They say that it was the original ones showing people how to love and embrace each other. But right now, when we look today, the most not getting along people, the most you know what I'm saying, toxicity people, and then we can't even talk about it because people are so sensitive, is the so-called black people or the so-called original people or the so-called kids of the sun, however you want to look at it. So at the end of the day, it's just to show you, like, no matter which race you is, they're going to try to pep you up to make you feel like you're better than another race. Just like they do the same thing what they do with how I'm gonna say the same thing they do with what it is, Indians and Hindus. They got certain ranks of who's this master, who's this village, who knows the knowledge, who has the wisdom that we're learning from. But a lot of people don't see it's all planted from the same tree. So at the end of the day, it always not really expanding your mind. So when we trying to say that the mind is actually could be a beautiful thing, we got to actually start having more things towards it. But at the same time, you got to understand, like, it ain't just about that, because you got to look at how the world be looking at it, how it already is. It's uncleansed. So it ain't like we coming in the world to present ourselves, right? You coming in a world that's not accepting itself, that's full of toxicity. And what I mean by unclear lens is like saying that it's a mental space where the things that don't matter more than anything else, right? Where it seems like if you can't drop something, you'll forever carry on to it, but it actually don't lead up to nothing, right? So that's even in the real world, it don't even matter to nothing, right? So like, no matter how much ancient religion, ancient this and that there, today is not going to help you. No matter how much times you call on a God or anything like that, if a person got a gun to your head, that's up to them. So it like, you got to just know how to keep yourself out of a situation or dealing with a person that would have a gun to you. And there's ways around that. And it is instructions. And that's the thing I want to talk about, right? Because when it get to astrology, soon as some people hear that, it automatically turns their stomach. But what they don't realize is astrology is just another way for saying, hey, I know groups of words that's very similar, period, really. If you think about it, like, instead of saying Saturn, somebody's saying stability and talking about somebody's security. So you might not like the word Saturn, but it's still talking about your stability. So it's still talking about a way that you grounded on this earth, or the way that you got to take a stand for something, right? And a lot of times, a lot of people don't know the things to take a stand for. So this is what make people take collision and head-on-head wars and something, bro. And at the end of the day, people ready to go hard about it and be passionate about it and feel like it's their Venus energy, or feel like they're doing it from the goodness of their heart, and they're really doing it from a war tactic. So when we say spiritual warfare, we're not lying. Everybody out here is really swinging on each other every day, killing each other mindset as another person try to expand their conscience. Soon as you try to say something different outside of your religion, or question the God that they gave you, or question them, they take it upon that you question God, like God hearing you asking them something. And one thing about it, they'll even explain to you like God said, like God have a voice box. So when we get into things like this, we got to understand that these people actually, they actually comfortable with things where they know it's not actually God saying this, where they saying it. And it's more people behind that take that little bit of power, and due to lacking so much power, that they feel like, okay, I got power amongst my people, so yeah, I'm good. No, you not either. So Master Masons and all y'all might feel like y'all up there, but we all still need each other. Y'all minds in the way that y'all able to construct things. And then we have people, you got some people that out here where their mind might not get right. And we'll talk about that on another video, but just saying it's that dimensional thing. That's what I was going to say. And it's just saying like, necessarily when it comes to being a human, everybody ain't meant to be a human at this time, right? So it just to leave it like that, where it's not like some people do some unhuman things, and y'all can't sit there and ignore it when you're seeing people doing, touching kids and doing all this other weirdo stuff. We got to wonder where it's coming from. You get what I'm saying? And it's like a mind that be steady floating around, and it's just like a lost spirit, right? Where it's not actually in the spirit realm. It's just waiting for someone to actually direct it to a certain location for it to be able to get in. And anytime we have these spiritual wars, it's always leaving that gate open. So where we not actually realizing we got a spiritual doormat down, welcoming in spirits that's actually going against what you got going. So at the end of the day, a lot of people like to talk about unity and these religions, and some of these religions get behind closed doors and kill you just because you don't believe in the same God they do. So even when you get in different states, different continents, and all this here, bro, when you start looking at it, it's serious. Because even when you're born as a child, being in other parts of the world, you ain't get no choice. As soon as you was born, they put you in a religion. And if you wasn't put in a religion, you was scouted as an outcast. So therefore, you automatically lost access to certain parts in life. So therefore, things going to be a lot harder for you. Even though the world living in the modern way, they got you stuck in your old ways, right? Where they doing some type of caveman curse on you, where you and your people can't even live to 80 years old because y'all dying trying to get certain things done that don't even have to be done that way no more. For example, like you have things like on higher peaks where someone got to go climb at or anything like that, or somebody got to dig at, and you got tools now where we supposed to be using the stuff in this world like it's our bitch, like where we shouldn't be letting these things control us. Anytime we start running from it and stuff like that, y'all got to realize it's not going to help you. You live in a world where you got to know how to fight with the tools, fight with the things what they got, right? Y'all ever seen like a old rapper and wondering why they can't make a comeback? It's because they don't switch their style, and then you got to switch it. It's like they don't edit it, right? Where everything nowadays is where people like to see it edit. Some people don't even like to see the actual live feed of what you're talking about. And some people like to cut down. So when you start to look at the attention spans of the world and what's going on, everybody living at a quicker pace because they realize, hey, we ain't got time to waste, but at the same time, it's still focusing on the wrong things in a way. So when it comes down to you trying to do that, it's just making it even slower. So to countries and stuff like that, man, y'all got to think, them people could feel any type of way. It's people going over there, and the reason why we know about it and stuff, It ain't like they don't have the connections. It ain't like they don't know who to talk to. They talking to people that's rich and people that look just like them that have left their countries and have them pick and choose like, hey, man, bump all that religious junk. My life is a lot better like this, and realize that those people still live in a mental hell. But who is he to go back if he know that these people take it so serious, aka they passionate about it, they're ready to kill you, go to war about it. So at the end of the day, we got to remember, because you could be a god of destruction, don't mean that you need to bring destruction onto this earth in any type of sort like that. So when we talk destruction, you got to know how to destroy spaceships, minds that don't actually have a point to where you're trying to get to. So you know what I'm saying? You trying to go down the road to the corner store. You're not trying to go to way down the road to Instown and trying to go over there to the tire place. You ain't even got no point of going there. So when we hop into those type of spaceships and hop into these type of minds, they're making us live pointless lives out there each other, bro. And it's messed up because a lot of us can't even get strong enough to be able to talk to others. We got to almost convince, especially the people that be around you. It's going to be harder to convince them because you have to be at a certain thing what they see as being big. And that's the thing only thing we working in, right? Because we already working inside, right? So now we just bringing it to the outside and show the world for what we actually are. So when things like that hit, we don't be too egotistical, don't be too boastful about it. The people that's actually spiritually conscious. And I don't mean no harm by that, because if you're on the way to that, that is very great. At least you starting. At least you're trying. And at the most part, you already winning, because these people that's around us not even trying a lot at all. They're more focused on bullshit that don't matter if they died or not, bro. And a lot of people don't understand that, where these people don't want to let go color, where people don't want to let go religion. And they'll hear somebody like me, call me an Uncle Tom, call me whatever. But see, that's the good thing about me actually being from the area, the area that I'm from, right? Because I'm really from the hood of Florida, right? So I'm just saying, when it comes down to this, I got friends, I got homies that can back me up. I even got y'all. I'm in the hood right now. You feel what I'm saying? So it's just to show you, like, hey, you already know, these are them damn apartments out here. But anyway, when it comes down to stuff like that, it's just to show you, like, hey, this man here's going to have a background where he came from the negativity. He came from the poverty. And now he had a location where he could bring this out and bring to the good people. And I don't mean that saying that, because you had the gift of being born blessed by saying you had financial stables. But if you really look at it, even if you from the hood and you want to admit to it, or even if you a person that own a business, right? And you ain't never go to the hood, but you work for something to get somewhere, right? Where a person can see your elevation, a person can see your growth, right? And you maybe got kids or something, you give them the world, or got friends or cousins or aunties where you give it to them and they don't see how hard it was for you to get it. You get what I'm saying? Stuff like that, man. And, it causes people to be lack of appreciation and things like that until they go through stuff like that, right? So a lot of people don't understand that a lot of times people think certain people boasting, certain people not, right? To a way that it could be actually something in your mind if you look at it a certain way. Because at the end of the day, no matter what a person says, if you got an unfiltered mind, uncleansed, and you got some type of biasness, which is this the reason why, we all have these picks and chooses and shit. And as soon as you hear somebody talking a certain way, you want them to change the way they talk. You want them to do everything different. You want them to be a certain way, but you don't want them to be themselves. And you don't want to be yourself, because you can't be yourself. It's crazy, right? Where everyone want to claim they themselves, but nobody know how to be themselves, even to the point that that's the problem with the world, where it's like you can't see what's actually going on until we the ones building it. So at the end of the day, it's like we don't see that we have power, so therefore we don't have it. Until we start to realize, hey, we actually have power. And what I mean by that is not talking about putting us in something risky where everybody got to get shot and the government and all that's going against it. That don't make no sense to keep doing that. We done been through those wars before. Have they worked? No. No. There's more to it than just one governor. There's more to it than just one little part. You got to think about people have to give up their whole religion. So some people is very uptight to it. So if you young and you got parents that's 65, they might not let go of that religion, man. You know what I'm saying? They might not let go of that thought form, because at the end of the day, that's the time for them, and that's what they felt more comfortable with. So they all put that together when they put their minds together and created that shit, man. But at the end of the day, we could create very beautiful things where we can have things that actually working successful. If you ever look at all the car companies, look at all the toy companies and stuff like that, different toys and different cars break in different ways. If all these people was able to put their mind together, they could make something that's way more sustainable out the gate. You don't have to get rid of everything. We still the ones that built this stuff. This world was built off of us. So at the end of the day, you got to still know how to do it. Especially me, if I'm going to be from America and have this freedom of speech of being able to grab the camera, you know, be able to walk out of the house and do this, I'm going to do my part, man. But at the end of the day, if the ones that can't do nothing but listen, that might be their job to get their tribe to understand what's going on, to get the people that's with inside of them, but that's rubbing shoulders with them, that we might not be able to see throughout the outside world. But when as soon as they got the chance, they was able to. So at the end of the day, man, I just want to break that down real quick. And I'm finna get back to these astrology videos so we can get back to like regular learning and stuff and get my videos back out so I can start back building. Because as soon as you start doing these spiritual videos, y'all already know what time it is. You can have everything green shaped. And that's being above everything. And it still won't get out like you want it to. So at the end of the day, I can't be talking to a certain amount of people. We got to expand. You feel what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, hit that share for me if you want. You know what I'm saying? And also hit that like. I don't really say that much either. So hit that like, man, so we can go ahead and get a couple of these videos in the algorithm, man. Because at the end of the day, some people ain't even got no choice, bro, when they born. And a lot of us just keep taking it. And we don't even know who we actually getting it from. You just going by your granddad and his person and this, and you would never know the person that they even got it from. So it's like a whole bunch of arguments that never going to end, man. So make sure you go ahead and hit that share. I'm out, OG Drip.